Cool.
Hi everyone, I am here with Jhariah today, which is really, really cool. He's joining me from the US. It's another American singer, and he is currently on tour for his album, A Beginner's Guide to Faking Your Death. So we will definitely be talking about that. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. Thanks for having me. It was a
Yeah.
really, really fun time.
All right, so you are on tour. How, before you go and give the audience like a great show, how do you prepare?
Let me see. Well, actually, the tour just finished, so
Oh, okay.
back
Oh, okay.
back home now. For at least for the time being. And before performing, I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing, honestly, is just to get a good warm up.
Hmm.
If I can, I like to do like a half hour, like 45-minute warm up, and just really like get moving and like sing a little bit and move around and breathe and just try and get myself in the right place where I can do a good show and feel like physically prepared. I feel like if I'm physically prepared, then usually mentally it just kind of like follows along.
Yeah. Hmm. So did you have a really good experience on this tour?
Yeah, it was a really fun time. It was a very interesting run for sure. Like there were like obstacles and there were roadblocks and stuff. But
Mhm.
overall it was great. I mean, the shows made everything completely worth it. It was so
Yeah.
cool getting to meet everybody and easily the best shows, that we've ever gotten to play. So it was it
Hmm.
was really cool.
Yeah. What would you say is like your favorite city to perform in? Do you have one?
Yeah, so that's tricky. I mean, on this tour, favorite was definitely Orlando.
Hmm.
That was like just such a special night. I feel like we've waited so long to get to play in Orlando, like so many people there just really like champions us and the music for whatever reason. And they were like, you gotta come to Florida. And when we got there, it was like, they really showed out. It was like the biggest show on the tour. Everybody was
Oh
super
wow.
nice and, like really, really supportive
That's
and like
amazing.
just made such a great environment. We also got to
Hmm.
play Charlotte again on this run. That was our
Okay.
second time, and it was even better than the first one. So many people from the first like time we went last year came back, and they brought friends,
Oh
and
gosh.
it was really cute. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, A Beginner's Guide to Faking Your Death. How did you come up with that title? That's such a cool title.
Okay, the title. I mean, it's one of those things that just kind of felt right. I was kind of putting together this story like about faking your death and trying to string these ideas and these songs together into something that's more, something cohesive. And
Mhm.
I remember like originally I was thinking maybe, we'd call it like fake your death or something, and it just didn't
Yeah.
feel like it like stood out enough. It felt
Mhm.
very kind of generic.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but I felt like the idea of calling it a beginner's guide sort of like it almost felt like a wink to the audience a little bit,
Hmm.
where it's like this like it has a sense of humor, I think, which
Yeah.
I was hoping that the EP would a little bit.
Hmm.
So that was probably the main reason.
What would you say is your favorite song on the album?
Favorite song. I mean, it changes so much. It's so hard to decide. I mean,
Yeah.
I think right now, probably Bad Luck. I've been thinking
Yes.
about that song live a lot. And especially getting after like touring on it, this was like our second tour where Bad Luck was part of the set list. And it's just so much fun. People
I can
really like
imagine.
enjoy that one live. It's a real like just it's a crazy time whenever we get to
Yeah.
play it live. So that really made me appreciate it a little more, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, that was the first song of yours that I heard, and it was the first song that I played on the show, and I was like, "What? Yeah,
Really?
yeah, no, that was the
Oh my
first one
god.
because it's so cool because the way it starts, you don't expect it to I don't know, like the just the to end that way, and also just like the highs and the lows of the song. The song is like there's so many like twists and turns, almost like what you'd see in a film. So I just loved it. I was like, what is this song? Like I heard it because I usually find the song on Spotify like the night before, and I heard it. I was like, who is this? What is this song? So what is the meaning of bad luck? What does that song mean?
That song. So when I was writing it, I think it was one of the last things that ended up on the EP. It almost didn't make it because it was
Oh,
this idea. It was like a separate thing from the story that I just had sitting around. And I knew conceptually it felt related to the other songs, but I didn't know how yet. A lot of the lyrics were different, but the main sort of core of the idea was trying to reckon with like the idea of luck and feeling like I don't really believe in luck
mhm.
personally. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of the things in I guess I'm not gonna say I don't believe in luck. It's more that I don't believe in it as an individual like trait. I don't believe people have luck. I think it's
Mhm.
just really this random thing and that we have like a lot of power over like our lives and
Yeah.
our, you know, the path that we're on. And
Hmm.
it was sort of this idea of just feeling like really jaded, and getting to like to the point where you're like, I don't really care about luck. Like I might have bad luck, but that isn't really something that can stop me. Like I
Yeah.
can overcome the like random happenings of the world because there are things that like I can control.
Hmm.
Um yeah, that's the I think what I was trying to write about.
No, that's a great message. That's an amazing message. Now, so all the songs that are on A Beginner's Guide, how are they instructing us to fake our death? How do they tie into the title of Faking Your Death?
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Where do I start? I guess I could probably start with Change of Pace. I mean, so Change
Hmm.
of Pace is the beginning of the story, and it's sort of meant to be this like opening scene, I guess, where you have this character who has like just freshly escaped everything in their life. And
Hmm.
it's this really sort of fun time, honestly. Like there's this initial feeling of freedom and having like complete control over your life, and everything is, it's like getting a fresh, like clean slate to start from. And the album sort of takes you through these like highs and lows of it, of feeling like, people might find out, or there's like parallels, I think, with real life, because it's not like entirely just like about faking your death and this big fiction thing.
Yeah.
I think that the idea is that it is sort of inspired by real life and this feeling that the things that you do might have consequences that you don't know about yet. And that can
Hmm.
be really nerve wracking, when you
Yeah.
feel like you've gotten away with something and you
Hmm.
feel like you don't know how, but you're gonna have to like pay it back somehow. That was
Yeah.
that was sort of like the idea with Debt Collector. So yeah, I guess the album is like less of a guide and more of a memoir, I guess, from the point of
Oh,
view of this character,
yeah.
who's decided to call it a guide for, for
That
fun
is
reasons.
that is very cool. No, Debt Collector, I listen to that. That's amazing. I love Debt Collector. And that you released that originally as a single, and then it was on this one. And then so I want to talk about your singles. I listened to all your singles, all
Oh,
hits, no misses. They're all
oh,
amazing.
thank you.
Like, oh my goodness. And also just the titles you come up with, like Knives Are Dangerous Kids, so cut the theatrics. I just love these titles. Like I've lived for the title. So what makes you decide to release a song as a single?
Yeah, so there's always like I think a different reason. It's really case by case, but with a lot of the stuff, like especially with Debt Collector and Change of Pace and Flight of the Crows, was the last couple of singles. The
Mhm.
idea was that I wanted, so the first single technically for this EP was Change of Pace,
Yeah.
and that was, I think, an opportunity to define like a new direction for the project. Maybe not a new direction, but I wanted to feel like it was a big step forward from the stuff that was happening on To Mend the Sun and like Split and Knives. Even Change of
Mhm.
Pace actually took a lot longer to make than Knives. I
Yeah.
released we released that as sort of a to stall a little bit and give us some time while we really like worked on Change of Pace.
Yeah.
And that was a thing where I wanted to take a big step forward and show like a different side to the music, something that was a little bit more fun and a little bit more
Yeah.
dancey. And then with Debt Collector specifically, that was when I knew that this was building up to Beginner's Guide, and there was this big project
Mhm.
around it. And I remember with Debt Collector, like the thing me and Cole would talk about. Cole plays the drums on the record and produces and mixes all of it. And
Ooh.
we were talking about it and going back and forth and just being like, we need Debt Collector to be like the most ridiculous, like out there song. Like it just has to be completely like frantic and like just full of sounds, like I
Mhm.
wanted it to be this big, like overwhelming thing where it hits people and
Yeah.
they're like, hopefully are just a little bit just shocked, and maybe like a little blown away by just like how much is happening, because like
Yeah.
ultimately that's like what I love, in music. That's where I wanted to go. And I felt like we really hadn't gotten to, we'd hinted at it. There'd been moments in the songs before, but I feel like we hadn't really gotten to do a moment where everything is just like on 11 and
Mhm.
people just get to like experience the full like what's the word, like there were no like boundaries on it, I
Yeah.
guess. And that was
Yeah.
something I really wanted to like set a precedent for with the songs coming after that, because there's so many different sounds I want to try and all these weird things. And I thought the best way to sort of have people be like ready for that and sort of transition to them into some of the weirder stuff we wanted to do was to bridge it together with something that's still kind of a pop song and kind of a rock song, but also not really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess like short to summarize the answer, a lot of the times with singles, the point is to take people on a journey and get them to where they're going to be more accepting of what you want to do later. It's kind of
Mhm.
like when like there's like a lot of time with cartoons or like anime or even like TV series, they'll have these crazy ideas for what they want to do with the show and these like seasons and seasons of like really intense, like heavy stories. But in order to get the audience there and to get the people to like want to fund the show and make it happen,
Yeah.
they need a very like sort of digestible and like accessible first season that
Yeah.
people can jump into, and that will get them to the place where they're ready to like take on these bigger things because they're invested. So
Mhm.
I think singles are sort of this big campaign to get people invested and more willing to go weird places with you.
Yeah, that is very well put. All right, so when could fans expect like another EP or album?
So we're working on new album right now. That's
Oh,
yeah, it's actually been in the works for a while, like since 2018. So
oh wow.
everything, yeah. Literally everything that's been released since then has just been like one big campaign to like I was sort of saying, like take
Yeah.
people on that journey to this album.
Mm,
And the album's also grown a lot in that time, which I'm very
yeah.
happy about because we really got to spend a lot of time on it, and I'm super proud of how it's sounding. So next year, I think, is the year. There's definitely going to be more music before that. Like there's a lot of stuff we're planning, but I don't think there's going to be any more sort of smaller EPs or anything before that. I think our next
Yeah.
record is going to be like the big record.
Exciting. Very exciting.
I'm real excited.
All right, so would you like your music is so different and like very different in a very cool way, in a very unique way. So would you say you're in a genre, or would you say that like nah, there's no genre that can box you, like you're a whole different level?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there really is a genre,
Mhm.
it's really like I like to just freely pull from whatever genre will complete the puzzle,
Mhm.
of that song or that record. And there's never like a point where I start off a song and I'm like, I want to make a song that's like of this genre. I want to make like
Mhm.
something like that. There are certain things about genres that I'm always looking for. Like I love pop music and I'm always trying to pull from
Yay.
there. And like I love hip hop and I love rock and I love all this different stuff.
Yeah.
And I just like to just take the parts of it that I like,
Mhm.
and when I'm going into a song, it's like, how can I make a song that sounds like what's in my head, you know?
Yeah. Oh wow, that's very cool. Now, who would you say are like your greatest, like the artists that are like your musical inspirations?
Definitely My Chemical Romance is the biggest
Mhm.
one. Just drama, theatrics, performance, like it's
Yes.
all there. Got it. Panic at the Disco was a big one, of course.
Oh,
I feel like
love them.
anybody could have guessed that, honestly. I love Lido. I'm a huge fan of like his work. He's this amazing producer. He's done like crazy stuff with Jaden Smith and Halsey and
Oh,
all these other artists.
yeah.
Absolute rock star. There's there's just so many. Tech Nine, Skrillex. I love Skrillex. He's like my first favorite artist.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on forever. It's like there's so many different ones.
So, like, what inspires you to like what's in your head, put it down in lyrics? Like, do you have a special place? Is it the people around you? Is it your environment?
um Wait, sorry, could you repeat the question?
So, like, to write a song, what inspires you to write a song? People, places, things, memories?
um I would say sort of everything, really. I
Mhm.
mean, I like to draw inspiration from things I see and I hear and everything in my life. Like I keep this really long like Google Doc. Once
Mhm.
I decide I'm working on a project, I'll make a big just Google Doc for that. And every time I have an idea or an observation about something I see, or if somebody says something interesting, I'll just throw it in there. And
Yeah.
then, when it's like time to write songs, and a lot of times when I'm writing songs, that starts from a sound. So like I'll get an idea, or it'll be like, oh, what if I made a song that sounded like these artists like combined, And then once there's like a sound put down, like even if it's like a small 5-second snippet, I'll immediately start like getting ideas of what the song is about. And then I start going through that document and pulling pieces out that I think match it or are gonna build out that song. And there's just this back and forth between like, what do these sounds make me think of, and then what do these thoughts like inspire sonically, and it just
Yeah.
builds and bounces until it's a song.
Oh, nice. Right. And when did you get started in music? When did you fall in love with music?
Hmm. That's hard to say. I mean, it happened really, really gradually. I started playing
Mhm.
piano when I was like 9 or something like that. That was
Yeah.
probably my first real interaction with like playing music or anything like that. My sister
Mhm.
had this like toy piano, like a
Mm.
first act pink
Yeah.
piano. And I would just like noodle around on it. She really wasn't into it. Like she got it for Christmas and it's like, I don't
Yeah.
really want to play piano. I guess my parents thought it'd be good for her, she'd have a cool thing to do, but I just kind of took over and started playing. And I started like really enjoying it. Like I would hear songs and be like, oh, I should learn to play this on the piano. And I'd watch like YouTube videos of people playing and like copy what they were doing.
Yeah.
Um, but for the longest time, that was really it. Like I didn't write music for a lot of years. The first time
Mhm.
I messed around with actually composing and like arranging music was in 6th grade. My
Oh
music
wow.
teacher, oh yeah.
That's so impressive.
I
Sixth
mean, it was
grade.
there wasn't really a whole lot happening, honestly, but it was my music teacher at the time, Mr. G, who I loved, great, came in and he was really excited about this like new program he was playing with. He had gotten FL Studio, which is like it's like a DAW where you could like produce and do stuff. I still use it, but
Ooh,
he came in and he was like, "Oh, I know you're into music. Like, check this out. I think you're gonna love this." And he was making video games at the time. Like he would make his own little
wow.
like 8-bit games, which I also thought was awesome. And then he was like, I'm also making music for it. And I'm making these little 8-bit arrangements in FL Studio and I can play them and put it together and it turned into whole songs and I put them in the game. And I thought the game thing was cool, but then I saw that and I was instantly like
Yeah.
captured, you know? So I went home and I pirated FL Studio and I started just making songs and just messing around on the piano roll and just kind of at random, just like, does this sound good? Does this sound good? Cool. And I would just go note by note until it was a song. And I made some half decent like EDM things. And at the time, I was getting really into electronic music. Like I was really into like Skrillex and Zomboy and Eptic and
Yeah.
all of that. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna make music like them. Like that's what I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
It's gonna be like dubstep and like bass music and all the super cool stuff. So I got really into the production side of things first, actually.
Yeah.
I'd never like written a song or written a lyric. I'd never sung really. So that was like the thing I did for like years until the end of high school. Um, I ended up, over time, that was when I was really getting into like rock and pop music and starting to
Yeah.
develop this taste for like theatrics and singing and big performance. And I was kind of channeling that into like the electronic stuff and the production, but it still felt like it was like missing something, I guess. And I felt like I
Yeah.
wasn't able to fully express myself because I was afraid to sing.
Mhm.
Um, and I accidentally got into musical theater in high school. I did like one
I had a feeling.
musical. Huh?
I had a feeling when you were saying that. I was like, you probably got into it. Nice.
Yeah. So my last year of high school, I got into theater and I did one musical, and that like one experience just changed everything. Like I'd been working, I'd been painting the sets the year before for a musical, and
Yeah.
over that time, I just was like, I have to try this. Like it's amazing. Everybody is
Mhm.
getting so much better, and it's like it seems like I could do that maybe. So
Yeah.
I worked with the courage, I did it. And that was what made me finally be like, I'm gonna really try to sing and like write music and take this like knowledge that I have of like production. And I didn't realize that also at the time I had learned a lot about arrangement and songwriting just through producing because electronic music is like, it's still music. Like you're
Yeah.
still arranging the same way that you do with like an orchestra or a choir. So
Mhm.
I had all this stuff just embedded that I didn't realize very easily translated to writing like pop and rock songs. So I
Yeah.
think once I was able to combine those things and I had kind of built a bit of courage to sing, um, I really fell in love with it. I was like, I think this is what I want to do. Like I finally felt like I had a full idea of something I could
Yeah.
do with my life.
That is amazing. That was a great story.
Thank
Now,
you.
wait, what was the musical?
Oh, and the musical was Urinetown.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun
That's
one if you, if you haven't heard it.
that's great. So you found what you wanted to do with your life. Who are the biggest supporters of your music career?
Biggest supporters. I mean, definitely my girlfriend, very big one. Um,
Oh.
she she like really encouraged me to go for that musical and like really explore my voice and was like, no, like you're really good at singing. You should really like you should keep at it. I was like, okay. And it's like singing is very scary, it takes a lot
Yeah.
of courage. So having somebody like sort of encourage you to keep going helps like a lot. Having somebody to like honestly just hear, like I was like afraid to sing in front of like basically anyone. So that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Um, I'd say like besides that, biggest supporter would honestly be like Cole, who I work with on all of these songs. I mean,
Oh,
when we met each other, like I just had like the one album out, and
yeah.
we sort of very quickly got realized that, like we got along really well, like musically and just as people. We were like, we could really do some cool stuff together, and he really believed in the project and was like, I want to like be part of this. And ever since then it's like things just skyrocketed. Like we just found this amazing like groove where our ideas just bounce off of each other, and like more than bounce off of each other, I think elevate each of our ideas into something that's like bigger than the sum of its parts, which is I
Yeah.
think amazing. And we've been able to put on this live show with just the two of us, and it really feels like we've kind of it was kind of a perfect combo. We've captured like all of the things that we love about music and managed to just make it like a reality, which is crazy. Love Cole.
Yeah. All right. So, what would you say are the goals you have for your music career?
World domination. But actually, I mean, I'm only like half kidding about that. But definitely I think just to take this thing as far as it can go. I
Yeah.
mean, I really believe in this project, and I feel like it can go really far.
Mhm.
So, the goal really is to just keep growing it and keep trying to reach new ears and sort of make some I guess I really want to just make like a substantial contribution to like music as a whole.
Mhm.
So I hope that that's what happens. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I hope that there's I can just do something that is substantial. That's the real goal, I think.
Yeah, that's very wholesome. So, the final tough question
Oh
is
boy. Okay.
is like, do you have any advice for like up and coming artists, for people who've just found, what, this is what I want to do with my life, I want to pursue it? Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah. So my advice for anybody that has decided like you're 100% sure I need to do music, this is the thing I want. I think first of all, just stick to it like always. That's like the biggest thing. I think anytime you doubt yourself or you start to backtrack on it is when you really start to lose momentum, and it can make it very difficult to get
Yeah.
back into. So I think like, pace yourself, take breaks, but always keep moving forward, and make a lot of friends. I think that's like one of the big things. Like just find like a
Yeah.
community, find people around you,
Mhm.
because I mean, this isn't really, you can do it, you can be an artist on your own. I think you don't have to sort of be tied up with like other people within your art, but I think it's definitely something that takes a community to really
Yeah.
build and like be successful at. You need to find your people. Those are going to be the people that you champion and the people that champion you. So you gotta have a community. Do as much stuff around your music as you can. As much as people like hate it, I think
Mhm.
making music, like so little of it is actually about how talented you are, about writing songs, and that's just
Yeah.
how it is. Like it's about connecting with people
Mhm.
and really finding the people that are going to resonate with you as a person and with your art. And I think if you can put as much effort into that as you do with your music, you just can't go wrong.
Yeah. Some amazing advice. Now, are you ready for a game?
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I've got 5 would you rather questions.
Okay. Okay.
Nice. All right. First
Love this.
one. All right. The first one. Would you rather listen to country music or heavy metal for 24 hours straight?
24 hours straight. Definitely heavy metal.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy some heavy metal music. It's a good time.
Yeah.
I never found myself like really, really captivated by country. Like I appreciate it. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question. Would you rather climb to the top of Mount Everest or swim to the depths of the Pacific Ocean?
Well, I can't swim, so I guess by default it's gotta be Mount Everest. I don't think I can make it back up
Oh,
if I
no.
if I chose the water. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Would you rather have dinner with Panic at the Disco or My Chemical Romance?
What? Oh God. Okay. Okay. Who would I want to have dinner with? That's so hard because I feel like with like dinner with MCR would be like a really cool like chill time.
Yeah.
Can hang out and like just talk about stuff. I feel like we've got a lot of like common interests, but then also I feel like with like Panic, it would just be like really fun. you
Yeah.
know like I love a good function. I love a little party. I feel like it'd be that kind of dinner. Oh no, that's crazy. um
I
I'll
mean, there's
go
no
with,
wrong answer.
I know this just feels so high pressure. I'm gonna go with MCR. I feel like that
All
would
right.
be like, that's like the big brain move to go
Yeah.
with.
Nice. All right. Would you rather go clubbing with a bear or an alligator?
Huh. That's not where I thought you were going when
Nope.
you started with clubbing. I'm gonna say the bear. I feel like
Hmm.
the vertical space versus horizontal is really gonna help you in a club setting.
Yeah.
Alligator, it's like you hit the dance floor, you're taking up a lot of room.
Yeah.
People really aren't gonna be able to.
Mhm.
It might kill the vibe a little bit. I'm sorry to say. So it's got to be the bear for sure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Great. All right. And the last one is, would you rather live in a gingerbread house or a house made of candy?
Damn. I mean, that's ants regardless. Terrible time. But I mean, I think the gingerbread house. I feel like candy would just be all sticky and weird.
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, gingerbread is tough because like I do
Hmm.
enjoy gingerbread and like I might be tempted. I don't know, but no. Yeah, definitely a gingerbread house. It would smell nice because it smells
Yeah,
like
it would.
ginger.
Hmm.
And I feel like it's just got a more solid foundation, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I love the logic behind all the answers. It's perfect.
You gotta really think about this stuff. These are important questions.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. It was great
Of
to be
course.
able to get to know you and stuff. Yeah.
Thanks so much for
Um,
having me.
yeah, you're welcome. But
Great.
before I let you go, because after hearing all this, all the people on the radio want to know where they can find you and find out more about your music. So could you please share your social media handles?
Yes. So you can find me anywhere on the internet. Just Jhariah. Just search
Yeah.
that JHARIAH. Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you'll find it. It's not a whole lot of Jhariahs, fortunately. So I'm out there if you
That's
wanna
wonderful.
if you wanna follow along.
Do you have TikTok?
Yes, I am a TikTok
Ooh.
guy as of the pandemic. That's
Yeah, everyone became TikTok people because of the pandemic.
yeah, it's fun. It's a good
It
time.
is fun. It's great. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.